Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood, feeling blessed.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be going over chapter 1.4, why did the USA emerge as a world power and what was the impact on international relations? Well, to start off, the impact of closing the frontier on US foreign policy. By 1890, the US had expanded across the entire North American continent, and the US Census said that there was no more untamed areas to settle, and the frontier was officially closed. This mattered because the frontier had always symbolized freedom, growth, and new opportunities. So now that it was closed, it was a big change for them. Since it was now closed, Americans had to look elsewhere for new goals. Many Americans, including politicians, church leaders, and other people, they started saying that the U.S. destiny was to go to uncivilized places or less developed parts of the world to show them how to run their land or whatever and bring Christianity. This helped shift the U.S. foreign policy away from isolationism and towards imperialism. Here you could see a picture of manifest destiny, which is an idea that they thought that it was their duty to it was their duty to go and expand their country. The economic growth and need for trade in the late 19th century. Between 1870 and 1900, the USA had huge industrial growth. The population grew from about 31.5 million to 76 million, and a bunch of these were immigrants from Europe and Asia. And they came because the US had a lot of raw materials like coal, iron, and oil. And they also, at this time, they were building one of the most advanced railway systems in the world. While they had these goods like coal, iron, and oil, they needed to be sold. And the US was facing problems because they had high tariffs. European countries already controlled most of the global markets. And Britain was already a lot of countries' top trading partner and was overtaking the US. So as a result, business leaders demanded access to foreign markets. Some reasons for and impacts of the Spanish-American War was that it started because the US was worried about Spanish control of Cuba, which was just 90 miles away. The island was important for America because they had sugar, tobacco, and mining businesses. Cubans started rebelling against Spain around the 1890s, and many Americans supported them because they saw Spain as anti-democratic. Things only got worse in 1898 because there was a U.S. ship in Havana Harbor which killed a lot of American sailors, and the press blamed Spain, and there was a lot of public anger from the cities and people that was bad. President McKinley, he tried to have peace, but the Assistant Navy Secretary Theodore Roosevelt, he was already preparing for war because of the anger from the explosion. They wanted to protect the U.S. businesses in Cuba, and also they were trying to distract from other problems. In the end, they ended up winning the war, and U.S. took control of Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines, and they started becoming more recognized as an imperial power. This also led to support for building the Panama Canal, which gave the U.S. better control of trading between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Okay, moving on. Reasons for the impact of and the USA's entry into the First World War. At the beginning of the war, USA stayed out of it because of the assassination of Franz Ferdinand. President Woodrow Wilson wanted to follow a policy of neutrality, saying that the war was far away because it was in Europe and it wasn't any of America's business. The U.S. made money by selling goods and giving loans to the countries in war, but they didn't actively fight in it. Germany did not like that they weren't participating, and they sent U-boats to attack ships in the Atlantic. There was one ship that they sunk, and it killed over 100 Americans, and this really enraged America, and Wilson had warned Germany. Then later on, a couple years later, 1 year later, they sunk another ship, and Germany said they would stop, but it never stopped really. And then around 1917, the British had found and shared the Zimmermann telegram, which was a telegram that Germany told Mexico it would help them win back Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico if they helped Germany in the war against the US. In April 7th, the war proved that US was no longer just a growing country and that it was now a major world power, and it was be able to influence war, peace, and global trade. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was entertaining, and good